Right, hello everybody. Welcome to the fifth Wolves Wednesday, albeit on a Friday. A bit of a weird one. I was at a wedding, my best friend's wedding, which if you watched my little video from today, you'd have seen that I was the best man. I did a little speech and stuff, which of course I mentioned the Wolves in. And then I didn't come back until late yesterday. I had anticipated being able to do one at 9 o'clock ish yesterday, but unfortunately I didn't get back until about 10:30, so I couldn't do it yesterday. But yeah, might not be as successful as a normal one. And I think with the last couple of weeks, with it being the transfer window and stuff, I think people were genuinely interested in what was going. Maybe as the season goes on, it'll be, I don't know, we'll see. But we'll talk about the game last week against Everton. We'll talk about some of the rumours that have been going around this week, and then we'll talk about the game later, tomorrow, 3 o'clock against Leicester. So, yeah, any questions as well, just pop them in the chat as well. We'll try and avoid any mistakes like we had last week. So, yeah. Hello to everybody who's watching so far. Shiv, thank you very much. Marcus, Wolverhampton Wanderers, good evening. Stephen Blakely, hi. I thought last week against Everton was really, it was a great test for the Wolves. I think that we'd had a good pre-season, but it was really tested against Everton in that we'd had... we were playing against a team who were the 8th best team in the league last year, Scott, and they've showed us how to play in the Premier League. If anybody's listened to the Express and Star podcast today, they said that Wolves had 95 Premier League appearances in their team on last Saturday, compared to Everton's 2,195. So that just shows you completely how we were outweighed in terms of experience. And when we come to play against teams like Huddersfield and Crystal Palace and Watford and Fulham and the teams that are in that bottom half who are slightly less experienced than teams like Everton and Man City and those top teams, then we'll be more at that sort of level. But I think tomorrow's a good test against Leicester. Yes, I am going. It's a good test against a good team who, although last year or 2 years ago had won the league in that freak season, they're probably sort of a good test for us in terms of the type of team that we want to be and where we want to end up in the future. I think we should be looking this season to be finishing in the same sort of bracket as Leicester. So we'll see how we get on tomorrow. Can't wait to see Adama Traore play. Me neither. He's fit. Yeah, he's fit. Shiv, I think he'll come on as a sub, and that's what we lacked last week. Really, when we were 2-1 down with 20 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go, I was looking to the bench, thinking this would be exactly the moment to throw on Cavaleiro. He wasn't there, of course, and he's not going to be there for the next couple of games. But to have somebody like Traore be able to come on would be massive boost to the team. Players need to believe that they deserve to win these matches and play aggressive. The back line can't fall back so quickly. It will create too many holes. Yeah, that is true. I think that we were too... I think it's been said quite a lot this week that the occasion got to us all, the fans and the players. There was a lot of nerves, I think, in Molineux last last Saturday, and that caused, I think, mistakes from like Willy Bolly, who we haven't seen make any mistakes at all over the last year or so that he's been a Wolves player. And he saw players like Ryan Bennett, who I think he's the most experienced player in terms of the Premier League for Wolves, 54, something like that, appearances at Premier League level. Doherty's the next experienced in that starting 11 with 1 cap, which is quite unbelievable, really. So, yeah, it's why doesn't Bennett get the same amount of praise as Coady? I think that's purely because Coady, we've seen play so badly at centre midfield and at right back, and he was just an ordinary player. And the way that he was turned around last year, whereas Bennett was coming in from Norwich as this more experienced centre back, he wasn't changing position, or we hadn't seen him play before to compare him to. So that's why I think Coady gets more praise than Bennett, although Bennett played far better, and I've heard a lot of praise from everybody about Ryan Bennett's performance last week, and hopefully that will continue. How long's Cavaleiro out for, Luke? He's out for, I think, a month. He's been given a month's rest. I think he's been sent back to Portugal for a month. He's had this bad back, apparently, from lifting weights in the gym for quite a while. So, yeah, I don't know. Coady made more mistakes than Bennett last season. By the Fulham game, Bennett was faultless. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think Bennett, he's often overlooked as well because he didn't start the season, of course, because Miranda started the season as Nuno had brought him in, and Nuno had him at Rio Ave as well. I think he'd been the captain for Nuno there, and but he made a couple of mistakes to me early on in the Cardiff game. QPR game was his last sort of run in the team. But yeah, Bennett, I think he's certainly one of the most underrated players that we've got. I think he's incredible. The Everton match changed your opinions on anything to do with teams, certain players, end of season prediction? During the game, I was thinking, do you know what? If these finished 8th last year, that's what I predicted Wolves to finish. That we've got to do a lot to finish 8th this season now. But there's an awful lot of things to be confident about. I think Ruben Neves showed that he's a Premier League player. You know, he's going to be an amazing Premier League player. And you've got players like João Moutinho, who's going to grow into that position, and he's going to enhance the players around him as well. I think that Jota and Costa will develop as well as they grow into the Premier League, because they haven't got the space and the time that they did in the Championship. Same for the back three as well. I think Coady and Bolly were used to having more time on the ball at Championship level, and we're able to bring the ball out slowly from the back, or to play easier passes, or pick their passes a little bit easier. So they'll learn. I think the tension, the atmosphere as well from the game last week got to a lot of players, and that won't be the case tomorrow. And they should. I think they'd have learned by the time we play Man City next week, and they'll be a little bit more at ease with the situation. They'll be more comfortable playing football, and hopefully we'll do well. I think in the next 2 games. I think realistically, you think if we're going to win either of the next 2 games, it'd be against Leicester tomorrow. But typical Wolves, I could see drawing tomorrow, losing tomorrow, and then getting something against Man City. I think it'd be very, very typical. Leicester don't have any firepower outside of Vardy. They've got Damari Gray, who's a bit dangerous on the wing, and they've also got James Maddison, who we saw play a few times last year for Norwich. He's a really, really good young player. He also played in that under-21s game at Molineux in about March time, was he? So they've got creativity around the park, and they've sort of changed the way that they play as well. They've changed they used to be really direct with Mahrez and Vardy getting it through, but I think from what I've heard now, they're a little bit more possession based and a little bit more creative through the centre of the pitch and shorter, quicker passes and things like that. So we'll see how he works tomorrow, and perhaps with them changing their style of play and us. Again, I sort of mentioned it last week about how consistent we've been and we're working on momentum from last season, and that could well be, it could well work in our favour tomorrow. I would start Vinagre over Johnny, to be honest. I think that will eventually happen. I can't see it happening just yet, but we saw Doherty struggling at quite a few points on against Everton, and they were really targeting him at one point down their left hand side. But Johnny is a right back. He's not a wing back. I think we've learned that as well over the last few weeks. So it'll be interesting to see if he does move over. I think he will eventually. And Vinagre, I thought, looked amazing. Considering is he 19 now? But he's been off and he's grown and developed with Portugal, and he looked really, really good. And I hope that we see him at some point tomorrow. And I think, the first half of the season now, if him and Gibbs White play, if they come on for the last 15, 20 minutes of 10 or 15 games, I think that's really good for them. And I can see them becoming really key players in the future for Wolves. I think both of them are going to be superstars, I think. Yeah. He did connect better with Jota. I think it was at that point down the left-hand side than Johnny was. I thought that was really important. The thoughts on the John Ruddy interview after the game on BT. If anybody else saw it, they asked him basically what was it like to have won the league last year with Wolves and been so successful, and then to drop down and be the reserve goalkeeper. I think he was very professional in the way that he answered it. He was very measured as well in the way that he said, look, it's a difficult position to play in because there's only one person can play in that role, and barring any massive injury to a number one or dip in form, you're not going to play. It sounds like from what he said about trying to find a solution with Nuno, he's been talking to Nuno, that the loan window is still open for the next couple of weeks to the Championship or to or abroad. I can't see John Ruddy going abroad, to be honest. But to be honest, I thought it was great that we kept him as a number two. I thought he was he's so experienced. Just to have that in the dressing room is good. To have him working with Patricio and Norris as well, I think he's really, really, really good. And although he's only got one England cap, if you think about other England goalkeepers now, he's probably, what would you say, 8th on the list? 7th, 8th on the list. Troy would be a huge addition to our squad tomorrow. He's an amazing option for a sub because of a few tired player problems. Yeah, if you think about who are their fullbacks tomorrow, Chilwell. Fuchs is injured, I think, is he? I don't know. So, yeah, the last 10, 15 minutes is going to be, mad. If Traore comes on, and it'd be amazing. if you could just all like the video as well, share as well while you're here, because I know there's not as many as there were last week. Last week there was an enormous amount of people, but because of various delays and stuff, not as many people were aware that this Wolves, or forever delayed Wolves Wednesday is on today. My room is like your office, covered in flags. Yeah, that's the flag from last week, obviously, and then we've got all the other flags that they've ever given out. I think I've got all of them there. Yeah. I wanted a black one last week just so that to have something a little bit different up there. That, by the way, is a gift that I had. It's given to me on Wednesday by the groom of the wedding that I was at. It's a signed photo of Ruben Neves. I'll just show that to you, just to add to my display. Look. There he is. We've got Neves, Ruben Neves. Love that. Love my little display here. We left drive last week. Too much passing, I assume that is, with no end product, especially in the second half. Play like Truro would have made a massive difference. Although Premier League teams are so quick and well organised, and well drilled, very hard to break down at times. So yeah, that's what we saw with Everton last week. When they went down to 10 men, you could tell how drilled they were and how experienced they were. You know, you got Leighton Baines, who's getting on now into his, well into his 30s, and he's not the player that he used to be, but he can still put an amazing ball into the box, and he still is positionally so correct that he's difficult to get around. And I was saying that last week, once Jota had beaten Walcott, I spoke about last week how good he was defensively, he then had to beat Leighton Baines, who's England quality left back or right back, left back a couple of years ago. So that's what you're gonna have to learn how to do, is to beat players and find the spaces against tough teams. I think Tim Spears described it as a cup game last week, and it was really. I think we'll see the real Premier League, the real Wolves in the Premier League tomorrow, and then again in the future. Does anyone know what channel the game is on tomorrow? Well, it's a 3:00 kickoff, so it'll be on an American channel. If you know where to look for those, it'll be on there. I took a black flag as well. I sit in W9 of the Billy Wright. I was one out of 15 people in there before the bandwagon supporters started coming. Do you think Dendoncker will play centre back? So it's a difficult one, because at the moment I wouldn't change that back three at the moment. I'd keep Bennett playing just because of his experience. You could see that experience last Saturday. I'd keep him there. Cody, I don't think you can move at the moment. I think that's where Dendoncker might end up playing, is instead of Cody. I think Tim Spears has said this week that he thinks that Cody will play for England. He's already been in England squad this season. I don't quite see it the same way. I think that he's gonna struggle, and I think against big, powerful strike, I think he's going to struggle tomorrow against Vardy and his pace. But Bolly, I think, will stay in, and it'd be interesting to see if we bring anything in January to supplement the back three, because they're all. And you've got Sace as well, who could play there as well. It's difficult, and I don't know how. I don't know how it's going to play out. We'll see. But the full back positions are also both up for discussion as well. What do you think of Nuno's press conference? Nuno's press conference, if anybody's watched it, we know him and we've seen him talk for a year or so. And we know that he's not going to give anything away in a press conference. But the Sky reporters or whoever it was going and they were digging. And there was a few things they were asking about Claude Puel and about how he's under pressure after one game. You know, he said, I don't care. It's nothing to do with me at all. And it's absolutely right, isn't it? He's focused on Wolves and how to improve Wolves, and that's it. And they tried to ask him about Neves as well and said, "Oh, how how is he feeling after the game that he had last Saturday?" He didn't even mention Neves in his answer. Then he was talking about the team and how he's just another player in the team, and that the team is better for having Neves, and that's it. He's very, very different to any other Premier League manager. I think other Premier League managers would have gone into more detail about, boosting Ruben Neves and saying, oh, how great he is. And yeah, we need to, really praise him. But we know as fans, and he knows that the team is built around Neves. Neves knows that. He doesn't need praising. We know how good he is, and we know the answers to those questions. We know that he's been feeling great all week because he had a really good game on Saturday. But he doesn't need to hear it. He knows. Back three into play in unison with Neves and Moutinho in counter-attack tackles, so the ball stays in Wolves' possession. And I think that's something that we lacked on Saturday, was that last season, Saïss and Doherty and Bennett and Cody, that sort of right side of the pitch, really worked well together. And Saïss would come back and cover at right wing back or right centre back, whoever would push forward, Saïss would drop back. And I think Moutinho was lacking that a little bit on Saturday. But I think we're going to play in a different way this year. I think those two, Moutinho and Neves, are going to be more forward-thinking and trust the back three. I think when Dendoncker comes in, I think that will give us more security at the back. But yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens in the future. How much would you say Neves is valued at in this market? Well, let's think of a similar player who's transferred this transfer window. My first thought was James Maddison. He's similar age, 20, 21. He's slightly more attacking minded, might get you a few more goals than Neves, but Neves offers more defensively in terms of recycling possession, keeping possession, and those sort of pre-assist balls that get to out wide. Now, he went for 25 million, I think it was, James Maddison. But what Neves has got on his side is that he's played for one of the top teams in Europe, in Porto. He's scored a goal in the Premier League. That adds a little bit of value to him. He's captain sides. He looks far more mature. So with all those little things, I think the minimum that you could sort of demand for him is 40 million. With our wealth that we've got, we don't need to sell him for anything less than 60. I've seen a few people saying 60 there. 50, 60 million, I think. You have to think, if Wolves were to sell him, say in January, he's had an amazing start of the season. Wolves are safe. A team like Chelsea or Man United come in and say, right, here's 60 million. Would there be uproar from the Wolves fans about that? If we could then reinvest it and bring in somebody else, I don't know. Who impressed you in the last game? Who surprised you? Who do you expect would do the same in the next game? So we've been through the Bennett surprised me, I think. Having seen how well he did against Villarreal, I wasn't expecting him to be able to do that again this in the Premier League game, but he shocked me in that respect. Doherty shocked me in how bad he'd done. I thought he was going to be a better player at the Premier League level than he was last week. I think he will improve. He will get better. But he surprised me in how poor he was. He's not worth selling even for that much. He's invaluable to us. Talking about Ruben Neves there, he is invaluable. He is in my time supporting Wolves, he's the most important player we've ever seen. And I would go as far as to argue that he's more important than Steve Bull, because I've never heard of the Wolves, the Molineux singing a name like they sing Ruben Neves, like they sang it after his derby goal, like they sang it on Saturday. Because when Steve Bull was doing his business, it was in Division 4, Division 3 against, Hereford and Wrexham and teams like that, Aldershot, in an empty Molineux and a derelict Molineux. You've got Neves now, who's done it in the second tier, and he's now starting to do it in the top tier. And he's going to be one of the top players in European football in the next 10 years. Yeah, and at Cardiff, that I've got a recording of that, of us singing that song, because it was just unbelievable. The noise and how long they sang it for was amazing. What would you take for Neves if you were the manager? Every player has their price. If this was Football Manager, I've already answered that. About 60, 70 million. Will there be a Ruben Neves stand in the new Molineux? Probably. I've said last season, if he stays for 5-10 years, there will be a statue of him, because he's that good. There's you've got players like Jota who's come in and has been amazing, and Costa was amazing in his first season. Patricio will be a good player this season for us. Cody and players like that have been tremendous, but there's been nobody in the 20-odd years, 25 years I've been supporting Wolves for that has captured everybody's heart like Neves had. So yeah, anyway, we could talk about Neves forever and ever and ever, can we? Any realistic signings we could bring in January? Similar caliber to Neves in any position? I don't know. To be honest, it's only been a week, hasn't it, since the transfer window closed? So it's a bit premature thinking about what we need to add in January. I know that there's still the free transfer window. We can still sign free transfers. So there's still Jordan Lukaku. Somebody's just mentioned there. Romelu Lukaku's younger brother, I believe, is a left back, who I don't know a lot about him. I think he was in the Belgium squad for the Euros. I don't know if there's anything to that rumour. But, a young, hungry player who's played at the top level, I think he's a decent player to bring in if it's a free transfer. Still Yaya Toure, I think, unless he's gone to West Ham. I think Yaya Toure is still available, but we don't need to strengthen in that position now like we did at the beginning of the transfer window. That's when I said perhaps we should have been looking at him, but we don't need him anymore. I personally think that Jota and Costa didn't play that well on Saturday. What do you think? Or do you think they will play better this week? I think that they struggle to find space and they struggle to beat the fullbacks. And they're playing against two experienced fullbacks at Premier League level, and they really struggle to find space. They will improve. I've no doubt that they will improve and they'll get better. And they'll find more space against Leicester, and as well to bring on Traoré with 20 minutes to go, he's going to bring out the best from the other wing back as well. It's going to give them a boost of energy as well. If in the event Cody is dropped, who will be the stand-in captain in the starting 11? Obviously Bart did it last year, but if you imagine that Cody's coming out of the team, Bart's not going to go into the team, is he? So personally, I'd have Neves as the captain. I thought there was a few games near the end of the last season that Neves captained himself as well. The Cardiff game in particular, I've never seen. He led that team despite not being the captain. He was 10 foot taller than everybody else. He really, really did, really well, I thought. Molyneux need to add seats in the corner gaps when the stadium expansion comes around. Yeah, absolutely. One of the journalists of the pre-match interview mentioned a rumour about Wolves being in for Bakary Saka. Anything to it, or was it just the same old rumour? Well, Nuno was non-committal about that, like we've seen with every other transfer rumour he's ever been asked about. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't take him back. I don't think we need him back, really, looking at the squad and the squad depth. If we compare him to Traore, I don't think he's half the player Traore is. He's got that little bit of Premier League experience, so maybe against some fullbacks, he might have a bit of a better time than Jota or Costa may have. I don't know. I personally wouldn't take him back. I wasn't his biggest fan when he was at Wolves, purely because of his lack of consistency. He could have done he could score one amazing goal a game, but then he'd disappear for the other 89 minutes. So no, I wouldn't have. He wouldn't fit in, I don't think, either with the sort of caliber of player and the ethos that we've got at the club at the moment. We will do a Leicester. Let's hope so, Jason. We don't need Deadwood. Would have been there. He's gone. Yeah. Right, quite a few comments coming in now. The only good thing that Solbakken did, though. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Did he bring in? I used to like Tongo Dumbia. I thought he was like Yaya Toure, but it turned out that he was not very good. Fox News will be... Fox News be like Wolves 3, Leicester 1. Bolly looked a bit out of sorts last week. Do you think it was nerves? I'm hoping it was a one-off. Well, yeah, if you think of he must have played 40 games for Wolves now. He had that little spell where he was injured, wasn't it, around about October last year. But he's been consistently excellent for us all of last season. Every other opposition fan that I saw talking about him was saying that he's the best defender that the Championship's ever seen. And he was a Premier League player in waiting. I think he was just unfortunate that he lacked his concentration's a problem. We've known that. And then and I think the occasion got to him as well, it was a shame. Why is somebody talking about Patrice Evra? We wouldn't have Evra. He was awful for West Ham last year. Can't wait for the Man City game, me neither. If I told you 2 years ago we would have Neves, Patricio, and Mazzini, I would say you would have called me mad. Yeah, I think I would have done. Well, I don't know, 2 years ago, because we had Fosun 2.5 years ago. Just said in May 2016 we'd be back in the Premier League with these top players and with all this money and looking like we could finish. The pundits are predicting us to finish in the top half of the Premier League. I would have called you mad, but since Fosun have come in, I think they've done really well. And they've set the goals, set the targets clearly. The first season that they were in here, their expectations were unclear because of how late they came in, if you remember. So it's difficult. I have seen that Man City documentary. I've seen the first 3 episodes now. I've really enjoyed it, despite not being a Man City fan at all. I thought it was really good. And all the time just thinking, that's how Guardiola acts behind closed doors. Imagine what Nuno would be like. And I would love there to be a similar Wolves documentary in the future. I'm sure all of you lot would as well. I think it'd be possibly something that could happen. We've seen them be a little bit more open with the Sky cameras, letting them into training and stuff. We didn't see anything like that under previous regimes, so never know. Back to orange squash as well this week, by the way, ladies and gents. Would you have Lukaku, Aguero, or Salah in the squad? Nah, not when you've got Jota, Cavaleiro, and Costa. No way. I watched the Everton match with some non-Wolves fans. I went insane, watched Bolly, and I looked like quite a fool. Yeah, well, I think lots of us looked foolish as well last week because I tipped a lot of people. I said, whatever you do, do not put Neves in your team. He doesn't get enough assists. He doesn't get enough goals. He'll get He'll get 12 yellow cards through the season. He's going to get you. He's going to lose you more points than he's going to gain you. And what does he do? A goal and assist. So, what do we know? What do we know? And I think most people, I told, put Bolly in your team. Put Bolly in your team. I think have I got Bolly in my team? Just as well as a reminder, if you want to, you can join my fantasy football league. I think there's a link in the description down below. So yeah, pop that in. We've got a better chance against the big teams. We'll be more up for it, and I can see us stealing it against Man City. I think what I enjoyed most about last Saturday is that it was more of a contest than any game we saw last year in the Championship. We saw we saw Everton so quick on the ball, so up for it, moving the ball so well, and I think it's been mentioned so many times that they're far the best team that we've seen Wolves play against in a league game. You know, there were times that we were testing the games that we lost last year, but that we didn't come up against a team like that, and that's going to be a constant thing. It's going to take us time to adapt. I can't see us beating Man City at the moment. I don't think. If you give it a couple of weeks or months or so, I think we could do something. How far away do you think Wolves are from a TV channel on Sky? I personally think that the media is going away from official channels like that on Sky, like MUTV or the Chelsea one. I think that without being big-headed, I don't think I do a very good job really of portraying the Wolves, but fan-led stuff is going to become more important. And I think, you know, because I have nothing to do with the club and you know, Talking Wolves and Dave Azzopardi and Dazzling Dave and all those ones, because we don't have anything to do with the club, we can say whatever we want. The Wolves TV, as in the YouTube, do a good job of, well, I don't know whether they do a good job. I think they could do more in getting more out of the players, getting them to do things, getting them to, I don't know, do silly things, viral videos or whatever. I think they should be doing more, I think. But yeah, to answer your question, no, I don't think there's going to be a channel. Would you rather move to a brand new stadium or have Molineux expanded? I've done a video all on that. If you want to find that somewhere on the channel, it's been very popular. I'm on the fence at the moment. There's no decision to make whether I'm for it or against it. I would much rather stay at Molineux, and I think that's what the club want. And I think that's what all the fans really want. So, yeah, we'll see. I think Everton are better than Leicester. Well, we'll have to see, won't we? Because I think they're both of us. If you take that sort of bracket between 7th and 10th, they're both going to finish or they both finished in their last season. I don't know. They should do something this season in that same sort of vein. Are you going to the cup game against Sheffield Wednesday? What's my thoughts on it? Oh, I was really hoping for a game against the Albion or Walsall or Villa or Blues, a local team. But Sheffield Wednesday away on a Tuesday night. I did it on a Friday night this last season, just gone. But I can't I can't I can't bring myself to do it again. I might do because it's still in the summer holidays for me as a teacher. I don't know. It's not. It didn't strike me as with excitement. Not like last year when it was Southampton away. It was a Premier League team that we were going to, and in the summer holidays we would go and enjoy it. I didn't fancy. I don't really fancy, but I might still go. We'll see. See how much the tickets are. See if they subsidise travel or something. We'll see. I think Vinagre will be top player, and we have the youngest team in the Premier League. Great time to be with Wolf. Regards, Keith. Thank you, Keith. I agree with you about Vinagre. I think he's a very, very exciting young prospect, and I think that we're the most inexperienced Premier League team, so we're gonna have to grow into it. But we've got players who've got experience at top level, so I think we'll be okay. Do you think that Wolves will break into the top 6 in a few years? In a few years, yes. I think the way that they're investing and the way that the players that they've already got, I think top 6 is definitely on. I really hope Dendoncker becomes an amazing player, and it would be really cool for you guys to get him for so cheap if he signs on a permanent deal. That's what's been amazing is that I mean he's come so highly rated, and with Manchester United looking at him for 20 to 30 million, I think in January, and to get him on loan initially, but then 12 million at the end of next season is unbelievable. Really. Where do you see Wolves in 3 years? I think we'll have had 3 seasons in the Premier League. And I think we'll have I don't look like an idiot now, but I think we'd have had 1 season in the Europa League. I can't see us being able to break into the Champions League in 3 years. We'll see. Do you follow the Welsh national team closely? Not particularly, not very closely. I'll watch their I'll watch the qualifiers. I'm not particularly bothered about friendlies and stuff anymore. I used to be. I've met somebody at the wedding that I went to a couple of days ago. He is going to Albania in a couple of weeks' time to watch. Maybe I think it's November or March, that international break. He's going to watch Albania against Wales in a friendly. It's just insane the commitment that some people. I mean, to watch Wales as well. Rubbish, I know. Your cousin's in my class at school. Lovely, Lamar. Thoughts on Mr. McManaman? I think it was so funny to watch Wolves fans complaining about how Everton fans were complaining about Wolves fans singing songs to them, and they were upset by that. And then as soon as Steve McManaman said that he didn't like Wolves, all the Wolves fans were asking to be sacked or whatever. Who cares? I don't care. He's probably an Everton fan, and if he doesn't like Wolves, who cares? Who cares? And people calling for him to be sacked is ridiculous. If it had been a racial slur, or if you'd have sworn, you could have said something. But because he said he didn't like Wolves, it was pathetic. We don't like him either. If Wolves win the league, do you think that Neves will stay, or would he be like Kante for Leicester? Well, what you're saying, if we win the league this year, would he stay? I think he would, because it's not like Kante. Kante came from absolutely nowhere, and then had an amazing season and was picked up by another top Premier League team. But I think the ambition of the club is that he's the poster boy. Neves is the poster boy. If we go on and win the league, he becomes, in another stratosphere. And it would take a ridiculous bid from somebody from the absolute elite of football. I mean, we're talking like Man United, Barcelona, Real Madrid to come and get him. Do you think that Traore is the fastest player in the world? I don't know. I have no idea. Hudson-Odoi is fast. He burned Bellerin. I've no idea. He, I haven't seen him play yet. I know that he tore Douglas apart when he played against him at Easter time, but I don't know. Predictions for Arsenal Chelsea on Sunday. I think Chelsea are going to win, and I think that Emre will be sacked by Christmas time, and Sam Allardyce is going to go in there. I don't know if you say what's your predictions for tomorrow. Well, I tend not to make predictions for the games because they just make you. You end up with egg on your face, don't you? Nobody's ever going to get it right. So yeah, love these live videos. Thank you. I love doing them. It was a shame that I couldn't do it on Wednesday. It's been a little bit quieter in here than it was last week, but there's a good stretch now of Wednesdays where I'm completely free. Do you play FIFA? Yes. Although I played about 4 or 5 games today, lost every single one of them and couldn't score. I think I've had about a week of not playing it and I've just gone. Yeah. I was in really good form on FIFA, but no, it's all gone. Do you think it was the right choice to sell Barry? That's from Luke Shaw. Is that the Luke Shaw with the biggest backside in the Premier League? I have to see. I think it's the. We don't know if it's the right choice or not yet, do we? Because we've only had 1 game without him. He's been doing okay for Leeds, I gather, but we'll see. We'll see. It's you can't tell yet whether or not it's the right thing. I think there's more of a top 5 now. I think Arsenal are slipping to that Euro bracket, so I reckon we'll challenge them. I can't see us being able to challenge against Arsenal. You look at the players they've got with Ozil, Lacazette, even the players they brought in, Leno and Lichtsteiner, although they're a little bit older and stuff, I think they're a tier above, or possibly even 2 tiers above where we are currently at the moment. I can't see us challenging Arsenal for a top 5, top 6 position yet. Not 100% sure, but I think he had trials at Wolves. This is McManaman, and they said he was not good enough. I think they're always like that, and then they come around when something like that happens, when a pundit comes out and says that he doesn't like them. So if Neves was to leave, it would be for 100 million and to PSG, Real Madrid, or Barcelona. Raul Jimenez will finish the season with 22 goals. Eddie from the Maiden says. I think that'd be that's a very bold prediction. I can't see him scoring 22. I think he's started really well though, Jimenez. I think lots of people have been surprised possibly by how well he's done. I think we were expecting to be another Bonatini, I think most Wolves fans judge him from the 10 or 15 minutes that he came on against Germany in the World Cup and played it. But he works so hard in that front 3, and that's exactly what they needed. I think he was better than Bonatini. I think he looks like he can finish better than Bonatini. His movement in the box as well is better than Bonatini. When Bonatini came on Saturday, did he add that much to the team? Did he change that much? I don't think so. But Jimenez was making stuff happen. I think he'll get between 10 and 15 now. I think last week I said between 5 and 7, but I think I've added another 5 or 7 onto that. Traore has said that he always has the squad number 37 because he can run with the ball at 37 kilometers per hour. Oh, is that even true? The gossip stone, is that even true? Usain Bolt's record is 44 kilometers per hour. Finners, I've noticed you. Hello. Imagine if the Premier League goes the same way as La Liga plays in America. Well, there was that rumour, wasn't there, last time Wolves were in the Premier League, about 2010, that every team was going to play a 30-night game. It was going to be in a random place abroad. It was going to be but it'd be against a random team as well. So you'd play your regular 38-game season, then you would have 1 extra game. So you could have been, you could have been in 20th place and have to play against the team in first. I think it was a ridiculous idea, but I think it probably will happen. I think eventually what will happen with football, this is, 15, 20 years time, it'll be a European elite league. Cheers, Finn. There'll be a European elite league where there'll be like all the top. What is the Champions League kind of? There'll be 20 top teams, and that'll be the elite of football, and you'd have to travel all across Europe to watch the football. But I think that's where it's going. We'll see. Never let Neves go. European Elite League sounds pretty exciting, not going to lie. Well, you heard it here first, mate. It's going to happen. And when it does happen, just remember, old DTR told you. Neves, let's never go. Hang on. If you could sign Usain Bolt, would you? He would bring a lot of money into the team. Why would you sign Usain Bolt? For his pace. Have you touched on the FC Jumila partnership? No, I haven't, but I'm quite pleased. I haven't read a lot about it, but I'm quite pleased because it just gives somewhere to put Paul Gladden and to put all those random players. I think quite a few of them have gone, haven't they? A lot of young under-23 players have just gone out there. So yeah, just for anybody here, there's an awful lot of fireworks going on outside, which usually means that somebody's doing some business. I think Wolves need to follow Man City's social media blueprint. Yeah, I don't know a lot about their like Twitter or YouTube stuff, City, but I know that they use Noel Gallagher a lot for a few things. If we could use Robert Plant in a similar way, you've got to embrace, those famous people and get them on videos and stuff. That'd be amazing. I think that, not that I'm an expert at all. I mean, I do the same video week in, week out, and lots of people watch, and it's amazing. But Wolves there should be like FIFA videos with the players playing against each other. There should be, the kids like Fortnite. Get some of the younger players to play Fortnite or something like that. I don't know. Get them all. The more interaction with younger people. Younger people watch YouTube, so what do they like? Let's build that link with the club. I'd love to see a behind the scenes documentary with Nuno in charge now, similar to Man City. It would have been amazing to have had one over last season, watching them go up. And then can you imagine behind the scenes after the Cardiff game and after the Middlesbrough game and, in the hotel when they got promoted, all that. Imagine just being able to watch that now in a series on Amazon. It'd be amazing. Wolves have up their social media. They've hired a couple of people. Like they've got new cameras and things like that, and you can tell from the videos. But there was a couple of job adverts that were put up at the end of the season when they knew they had to make the media department bigger. And if they're looking for somebody to just sit in front of a camera and talk about the game after it, I'm more than happy to do that. But I don't think they're looking for anybody like that at the moment. And if I could just do it after the games on a Saturday, that'd be lovely. I don't think that's happening. Wolves are making it into the Champions League in 1 year next season. No. They won't. They can't. I think it's probably the ambition to get there one day and get there one day soon. Next season will be too soon, wouldn't it? There's a little part of me which fears that everything's going too quickly and it's just going to fall in on itself and we're going to be left with all these Portuguese players and it's going to be like, oh no. We're going to end up with second-tier Portuguese players when Mendes decides he's bored or Nuno goes and then we lose the Mendes link. Or, I don't know. We won't leave. We won't lose the Mendes link because, of course, they're to do with Fosun, not Nuno. But I think he has given us a lot better quality of players since Nuno's been there, because obviously they're best mates, aren't they? I think it would be a good idea to introduce B teams into the lower leagues. It would allow teams like Chelsea and us to play fringe players in a relatively high level. I don't know, because the English Football League is I might be wrong, but I think it's the biggest football pyramid structure in I'm going to say the world. Four professional divisions is a lot. If you add in B teams, you're gonna have to make divisions. You're gonna have to add an extra division, or you're gonna have to have one division that's like 26, 28 teams, and it's not going to work. They're really competitive, League Two. We know how competitive League One is. We've been in it. Championship is a fantastic division. It's not like Spain, where there are fewer divisions, there's fewer teams, and it's not as competitive down in the low divisions there. And you've got the chance. You got the chance to build for the future in the bigger teams, but we'll see. Yeah, I've just seen a few comments there about Wolves fans being deluded. I'm not sure that... Is it Eddie? Eddie from the Maiden? Is he the one who just said that we finished fourth? Yeah. I would take fourth from bottom as well now. I'm not saying that, I'm not being negative, but I think that realistically, we'll... I don't know. We're not going to finish the top four. We have to get top four this season. Don't be silly. Don't be so silly. Wolves should sign Usain Bolt. What is all this talk about Usain Bolt? Has there been some sort of link with Usain Bolt to Wolves? Because if there is, that would be absolutely mental. We cannot sign that. Prediction League, Shiv will be the end of the season, won't it? I don't know what the Prediction League is going to look like now, do I? After one game. No, I'm not into any American sports, unfortunately. I don't like the NFL. I've tried to watch the Super Bowl a few times. But too many stops. Too many adverts. Super Bowl, they have a break for an advert. That's ridiculous. Shout out to... Did you Google that? Did you finish? No link, but Usain wants to play pro football. Didn't he have a trial at Man United or something? NBA is great, NFL not too much. I don't like basketball. I'll tell you why. Because there are too many goals. I know that Americans don't like soccer because there are not enough goals. But with basketball, there's a goal or basket every 5 seconds or something. It loses its excitement then, for me. I understand why other people like it, so it's fine. Whatever. Considering going to the Burnley game next month should be a good game, shouldn't it? Yes, the Wolf 18-18. You should go to every game if you can. But yeah, it'll be a good test. I'm not sure whether the Europa League might have started yet at that point. But it's been moved to a Sunday. That suggests that maybe it has started. I'm hoping that Burnley do qualify because it'll be they'll be tired, they'll be distracted. So I'm hoping that they're in the Europa League so that we can get them in that game. We've got a friend of mine who's a Burnley fan as well, so he'll be hopefully come to the game and maybe he can give his opinions after the game as well. We'll see. Opinion on companies like Amazon buying rights to Premier League games. How would you like to see the future of live games? I think it's good. It's better now that there's competition for Sky. I think there was a point couple of years ago where Sky were just buying absolutely everything, and Sky was just saturated with football and cricket. They had like everything, didn't they? But right, goodbye now, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Goodbye, good night, everybody. I'll come back to that comment in a minute. What was I saying? Yeah, so Amazon, Netflix, YouTube, having live sport and having football, I think is good, so long as it's accessible and affordable to everybody. That's what we want. Let's have a look. Would sign an MLS player on loan be a good look, like Joseph Martinez from Atlanta FC after their season? I don't know enough players from the MLS. I know that my cousins went out there recently and said the standard of the MLS is shocking. So whether they could actually cope moving from the MLS to the Premier League, I don't think they would. Burnley were lucky last year. They'll struggle this year. I think so as well. I think the additional fixtures on them are going to be difficult, and they're going to get tired, and they're going to struggle. So we'll see. There was a comment that I was going to come back to. What was that? Let me have a look. I can't remember what it was. Oh, yeah. It was the Wolf 1818 was a student in Norway, so every game, going to every game might bankrupt me. Let's have a look at the fixtures. Let's pick you a nice fixture out. Tottenham at the beginning of November. If you're coming from Norway, you want to see Wolves playing against the top teams, don't you? Really top team. Now, coming against Burnley, you might see Wolves win, but you might not see them playing against the top team. And I think by November, we'll be settled in the Premier League, and we might have a chance of beating Tottenham. They'll be all disrupted because are they in Wembley? Are they not? It'll be at Molineux. We'll see. But yeah, if I was going to recommend you a game, Tottenham. Jack Price is reportedly killing in the MLS. Enough said about that league. Yes, exactly. Will Wolves invest more next season? What do you think this season we will challenge to stay and maybe have a decent place? But yeah, I think if we stay in the league and do well, if we finish 10th, we're going to be, we've seen what we've invested this year. It's going to be, I expect double next summer. Imagine if Ronaldo would have signed for Wolves because of the Portuguese and the Mendes link. Yeah, could have happened. Could have happened after the Champions League final. It was odds of 20-1. Is the Wolves' new signing playing tomorrow? I think he's going to be on the bench tomorrow. Yeah. Do you think there will come a time when we're seeing sack the board Nuno out? Darren, all things must pass, as George Harrison said. And even with Jack Hayward, people spat at him and things like that, didn't they? So we're in the honeymoon period now. They're doing well. There's going to be a time, and it might be that we do really well for a really long time with Fosun, with Nuno, and it comes to in 5 or 10 years' time, we miss out on a Champions League place or something, and then it's sacked the board, and we sort of need to come back and remember, hang on a minute. Look at where we've been. But I don't know, there will be some idiots. There'll be some idiots this season who wouldn't Fosun out and wouldn't Nuno out. We'll see. Can't believe the Spurs' new stadium isn't ready yet, Anna. It is crazy. I think it is. It's pretty much ready, but there's like safety things that are not in place, which is just crazy. Who's your favourite foreign club if you have one? Do Welsh Premier League teams count? I went to see probably the team I've seen second most to Wolves. Actually, I can't. Well, all right, been to see and supported because I must have seen, Barnsley 4 or 5 times, whatever. But I used to go and watch Carmarthen Town a lot. So if you want to call the Welsh Premier League a foreign division, but in terms of foreign teams, I've got a Rapid Vienna shirt. So I used to live in Vienna when I was very, very little. I like Bayern Munich. So yeah. Not a massive fan of the Spanish teams, really. Yeah. Right, last couple of things now before I head off. Then I'll just do these, and then I'll ask you for your predictions. There, right. Do you think we'll have to pay for Sporting for Patricia? We'll have to pay them something. I'm not sure how much, but we'll have to pay them something. Which they can't give us a player like that for free, can they? It'd be unfair. Can you show your feet? No, I haven't got any feet. Saw a picture of the Spurs stadium, and I said the delay was because they were making a lid to complete the toilet theme. That makes sense. Yeah, it's surprisingly more toilet-like than I think they expected. Who will win the Champions League? I think, did I say Man City in my prediction thing? I think I did. Man City, I think, and particularly after watching that documentary, watching the start of that documentary with Man City, they are. Guardiola is such an amazing manager. He knows how to win. He knows how to win the Champions League. He's going to eventually win it with Man City, and I think the team they've got at the moment, the way they play at the moment, I think they're going to do it. I know I predicted that they'd finished third in the Premier League, but I think they will do. I think they could well win everything. Right, just drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Subscribe as well if you haven't already. Whether there's any new subscribers in here or people who haven't subscribed yet, that'd be lovely if you could do that. And let me know in the next minute your predictions for the game tomorrow against Leicester City away. I'll read out as many as I can. What do we reckon? First goal scorer as well, or who's going to score all the goals? Let's see how many can we get in the next 2 minutes. Right. Huss says 2-1 Wolves. Scott 1-1. Madison to score first. CF. Cheers. Gossipstone 4-3 Wolves. I think Wolves will be 3-0 down. Oh, you reckon? Razwan Khan has subscribed. Thank you very much. 1-1 Jota to score first. 0-1 Wolves. Jota. Lovely. Well done, Clown UK. Thank you, Unbreakable WT. Also, he's deleted. 1-1 Rowan Singh says 2-0 Wolves. Dan Lloyd. Wolves 1. Michael Bridge 2-1. Bolly to score a header. I'll say 2-1 Wolves or 3-2 last minute Vardy win. Vardy, Jota, Anil Kumar 4-1 Wolves. Shiv says 2-1 Jota, Vardy, Jimenez. We will rip someone soon. We've been saying that since Nuno came in, and we've said we're going to really smash somebody, but it's never really happened because they're so conservative and pragmatic. They don't smash teams. We'll go 2-0 up, and that'll be it. Thank you for subscribing, Dan. Tell all your friends, mate. Thank you. 3-0 hat-trick by Ralph Jimenez. Let's hope so. The Mexican King. Zayn Malik, hello. 2-1 Wolves. Costa first. Jimenez second. Vardy last goal. Wolves 3-1. Jolly. Jota, Bolly, Costa. These videos are class. Thank you. Be back on Wednesday. Back in normal time for a Wolves Wednesday. Wolves Wednesday on a Friday. Thank you for everybody who's tuned in. 3-3, Eddie Maiden says. Yeah, thank you for tuning in today. It's been a bit of a delayed one, bit of a funny week, being away from home for a few days for a special wedding. Check out the preview for the game, which I've done already on the channel. There's a little clip at the end of my part of my speech, which of course I mentioned Nuno and the Wolves. Enjoy the game tomorrow if you're going. Come say hello if you see me, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And watch out for my review of the game later on. After the game. Goodbye. Thank you very much.